Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Great Awakening Generator. I am Rose McNair, and today I have with me Regina Orchard. Hello, Regina.
Hi, Rose. Hi, everybody.
How are you today, Regina?
Feeling good. Feeling a little chilly over here, but really well. Thank you.
Please tell us where you are in the world.
I'm in Melbourne, well, south of Melbourne in Australia, down on the Mornington Peninsula.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So beautiful place. Obviously, it's a peninsula, and I find peninsulas quite beautiful.
It's lovely to be near the water and near the trees.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect places to be where there's water and there's trees and all that plant life and creatures. That's that's full of Mother Nature messages, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't say where Regina is from. Regina is from Plant Music Australia. Now, everybody, I've got to tell you that Regina and I have talked a few times, and we felt that today was the apt day to do this post the solar eclipse, right? And so we prepared for this interview, but I want us to go. Firstly, I've said plant music. And for many people who do not know what plant music is or have never heard about it, they're going to know. The first thought is, what is that? Okay. So we're going to first start with talking about plant music and telling you what it is and how it is accessed. And then we're going to go and talk about Regina Orchard and who she is and how she does her work and how she's come about this, right? And after that, we're going to have a display of this beautiful plant music. Let me tell you, I've had my share of it. First, I got the magic of it, and I'm forever transformed. So hopefully you feel the way I think you'll feel the way that I've just described, or even more. And we'd love for you to share your thoughts about it when you watch it, if you're catching it live or if you catch it afterwards, so that we all grow and learn together. Right, Regina, thank you for your patience. I talk a lot.
It's all very important to set the scene.
It certainly is that, isn't it? Certainly is that to set the scene.
Mm.
What is plant music?
Okay, so that is the big question. Most people wonder. So you use a device. There's a couple of different little devices. This other one behind me here, and this basically takes the frequencies or the vibrations of the plant. So when you're out in nature, you feel different. You can feel it. You can feel these vibrations, but we often don't even realize why we feel so good in nature. So these affect us like our friend's energy affects us just the same. So it's using biofeedback to gather those and then assign those different frequencies musical notes. So you get
Okay.
to hear what you normally would just feel.
Oh, wow. It's amazing, right? It's
Mm.
amazing. I heard it and it's amazing. So someone has created this device that's able to match the vibration or convert the plant's vibration into musical notes and it gives us a sound. Is that an explanation that's simple?
It's a good explanation. Yes.
Okay.
So people from the Damanhur community, eco-spiritual community in
Oh,
northern Italy, they have been operating since the 70s and they've been working with technology and biofeedback with plants, as well as intuitive connections with the
okay.
plants.
Wow.
It's part of the many things that they do there.
Okay.
And so since the 70s, they have been developing this technology.
Okay. Okay. So it's really science, technology. Why I'm saying science is because it's biology in terms of plants, right? Botany, right? So it's science or biology, technology, and intuition that all work together in this way, using just work basically sensing and highlighting the frequencies, right?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. Wow.
And then the interesting thing happens when the plants get used to, so plants can hear, that's been shown through science. So And often we all know that speaking to plants, playing music to plants increases their growth and their health, and they even use it in production of crops such as wine growing to increase the crops.
Yeah.
So
This
we know plants here. And then, oops, I lost the plot.
it's okay. We know plants here, you were saying. And
Yes.
yeah.
So they can hear themselves when they play. And given experience, given time, they can really learn to control the instrument.
Wow.
So
Wow.
they're intentionally responding, and that may seem a stretch for some people.
Yeah.
I have so many experiences that has proven this to me. So many things that have happened that just it's impossible to have that many coincidences, I believe.
Yeah.
However, it's up to everybody to experience this themselves. Like we're talking about it now, and people are going, well, this is strange and interesting, whatever. But until you feel it, it's just words, isn't it? Until
Yeah.
you heard it, you it's only a lovely concept. But once we get to that part, hopefully people have an actual experience.
Yes. I want to say, I mean, this plant music then has been around for more than 50 years. Obviously, if it started in the 70s or about 50 years, right? And just listening to you speak there, and I lost the plot just now. Oh, I've lost the plot after I had a thought about it, right? But coming back to this, like it might feel we are, there we go. There's my thought. It's come back. Oh, wonder what that's all about. It's the energies at the moment, right? But anyway, what I want to say about plants, I mean, they are what we're highlighting here is that plants are living things. They are living beings. They are living vibrational things. And I mean, you've seen it. Sometimes you can sit in your lounge and you might be there writing a letter or something, and there's a plant on the at the top of the desk, and looking at it, you can see a leaf unfolding, and you can see it actually slightly vibrating and moving. And so I think what I'm feeling with that kind of experience is that we sort of, as humans, have undervalued these other things around us that have life and have got so much energy to give and want to communicate. So it's wonderful when somebody says, plant music. We've been able to communicate. We've got a device that communicates, that we can communicate, that we can touch our vibrations. Do you think that's yeah, that's what I wanted to add to that. So if you want to say more about that, that's fine.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, there's a term for that, plant blindness, where we
Okay.
just see them literally as pieces of the furniture. We're not acknowledging them for anything other than, something that's kind of useful to us.
Yes.
But in my experience, and obviously in yours, they are conscious beings. And I have just been amazed and humbled and nurtured by this incredibly loving music.
Yeah.
Um, and considering the way humans have treated the plant kingdom, here in Australia, we have something like only 3% of the original plants left.
No.
The nat, you know, the
Mm,
yeah, the original plants, which is shocking.
yeah.
And the plants, you would think maybe there would be a lot of anger in the music, a lot of frustration, or just no, I don't even want to talk to you. But that's
Mm,
not how it is. The
yeah.
music often is very loving, and the plants and very nurturing, and the plants will specifically help people or heal
Mm,
people in certain realms.
yeah. Awesome. So if I'm yawning, it's because I'm clearing. I just need to say that. I've learned now that it's not about going to sleep, it's about clearing. And those plants are helping me do that, because I also felt a strong vibration along my head, yeah, as we started to speak, because they're not even singing at the moment. I'll say singing, but they're still certainly affecting us, right?
Yes, yes, there. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The music just allows us to hear what they are doing, but
Yeah.
they are extraordinary. and I have a plant here that's not well, physically well,
Mm.
but it plays at every opportunity for us.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to talk about that. How I think we've come to a point of saying, how does it help us? Because we're just talking about how it helps us, right? How does plant music? I know plants help us because they clear the vibrations. It's about that, breathing in carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen thing, right? The basic scientific thing that we've all been taught. But how does plants help us in terms of their music? What can you say about that?
Um, at Damanhur, one of the things, so we're doing a lot of experiments with biofeedback and plants. One of the things they did was they used a mechanical device on a tap, and so the biofeedback from the plant affected the device so that it could turn the tap on and off
Oh,
to water itself.
wow.
And there was
Wow.
a series of practical experiments like that. And then the communication came from the plant world, and I think this is really important to share, was that the plants said, we want some sort of device that will help the humans to reconnect with us. And plant music is such a wonderful way to connect us on our true natures, our vibrational level.
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. So plants do heal us, and it becomes very obvious when I play plant music to a room full of people who've never heard it before. And it's quite amazing, really, the number of people who feel a change. Some people will just feel the relaxation or release. Some people will feel changes in their body, a bit of pain might release here or there. It helps bring them back to balance. And there's been research on it, but we don't have enough of the old double blind research for the scientists to be happy
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
But anecdotally, it's just regularly happens. I get the same sort of responses. And sometimes people's hearts just open and they cry. And that's what happened to me when I first heard it. It's some
Okay.
kind of a real remembering, like, yes, of course, we used to be so connected and on
Absolutely.
a daily basis. And to come back to that is just feels so good.
Wow. That's amazing. I think it's that. It's like now I'm suddenly feeling energized because I feel like they sort of put you into a nice lull, breathe it all out, and then energized because that's what happened the last time too that when we were meeting to talk about this interview, right?
Yeah.
Um, so why do we need plant music?
Ah. Well, we want to be the fullest versions of who we are. And we are designed, surely humans were designed on this planet or put on this planet. We were part of the whole creation. We were connected. We had all kinds of abilities and attunement to things. And a lot of us don't have that now. And it's very important that we come back to all of our senses and all of our connections. And together for me, I mean, we create heaven on earth, if that's the term you want to use.
Yeah, we
And we
do.
can't do that without the plants. And the other way around is when we are connected with our hearts and to the plant kingdom and all the other kingdoms here on earth, then how can we hurt them? How can we abuse them or neglect them? Like that's will
Mm.
be in our natural flow.
Yeah. Wow. Do you know, I feel like they would I'm getting to speak to various people and to also come to the realization of those that are coming into my space, like the other beings on the planet that are coming into my space. I'm getting to realize that as a transformation process for us, the sorry, I'm just checking so that we're okay online as I do this. As transformation process for us, yeah, we all good. That there were so many helpers sent here for this human transformation. There were so many helpers, and we actually thought, oh well, we are the most advanced ones on this planet. We are, because when you think about the theory of evolution and how they talk about coming from ape onto to human, and that's what makes us the most advanced and all of that. And here we are going through this transformation process, and we suddenly feel the energy of dragons, of fairies, the elementals are coming through, and then now we've got plants coming through, and animals are making a real coming to the forefront about what they're here to do and how they are here to help us through the transformation process. And just because we speak and we communicate, and our language is the human language is the most communicated thing knowingly, right, in our consciousness, doesn't mean others that are here are not helping us coming through to communicate, that are not helping us communicate. So I feel like honor to them. I feel humbled that these beautiful creatures that have got so much more knowledge than I have, really, that will wait for me to awaken, to come to this point and then help me through that awakening process. Aren't we blessed and amazed, amazingly so, by all of this that the universe has given, has created for us to take this journey to self?
Yes, yes,
Isn't it wonderful?
certainly
Yeah,
is wonderful.
absolutely wonderful to have this experience knowing that, coming to the realization of it is because, and when you think about it, when we've been sleeping or totally unawakened or even partially awakened, sometimes we can take certain things so for granted, and yet now we're coming to realize this thing about plants, for example. We're talking about plant music, listening to the notes, the vibration of plants, and it's coming through in the form of music. I mean, who would have thought?
And do
Hmm.
you know that there have always been people who can hear plants, people who are just tuned in to the right frequency, like with the radio.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
And so occasionally I meet people through the plant music world
Okay.
who have had that experience, and they say to me, "Oh yes, this sounds like what I hear."
Wow. Wow.
And
Wow.
there are so many abilities as humans that we have as latent abilities that we can tap into, which you're talking about, where
Yeah.
we can connect.
Yeah.
Um, the wisdom of the world is stored in the trees. They carry that. They have
Yes.
wonderful systems of passing that along when one tree is too old to take on the role, and how all the different hub trees connect to the different other hub trees around the world
Mm.
and through their roots. And it's just fascinating. But
Mm.
the experience to be with an ancient tree, and even not as such an ancient tree, but to be with a tree who has such a big body compared to us and a huge energy field. And the tree's jobs are to gather and ground, one of their jobs, gather and ground the energy into the earth, the new energies that you're talking about,
Yes.
and to share the wisdom and the knowledge with us. You can even ask a tree to be your mentor.
Wow. Wow. It's just like, wow. I keep saying wow because I don't know what else to say. It's like, I just love the, if you watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the second, the one, the Two Towers, um, they had the intage, the trees came alive. I'm not sure if you watched it, and they were talking, and the trees were the ones that actually got involved in the battle of good and evil at that point in time. And they spoke intage. They were called the Ents in that movie.
Okay.
And it's like, and they call their language intage. it was amazing. It was just like, wow, you just fell in love over and over and over with trees when this was happening. Oh.
I haven't seen that. I've seen a little clip where the trees are moving, but I didn't know all that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's very good if you watch, if you get a chance to watch the trilogy. I say watch the trilogy because it's very much about one flowing into the other. And anyway, Tolkien wrote about a world that I think exists probably on another planet. And it is really, if you watch it, even the last one, it's very much like the transformation of this planet right now. If you see the undertones of that, it's very much of that, where some will leave and they will go, and but they have been the warriors for the planet. But anyway, we're digressing now. I want to come back to this.
Yes, sure.
I want to say this much. I think it's your energy as well that's got a very healing effect, because other people must be telling me this as well, because I just feel like I just need to chill out and relax. And 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 of course, if plants and you can do this for us, because I think the plants have something to do with it as well. Like if you have plants in the house, indoor plants, imagine how much wonderful energy it will create in your living space. Saying this to anybody watching, have a think about it. Think about whether you want that.
Mm, yes, very true. And
Yeah.
I have gone through a journey with plants. So initially as a child, I played with plants and trees and had a lovely time and all those natural places to be. And then I decided, oh, plants were great because they would give you food, and I explored organic gardening. And I didn't want to grow flowers. I just wanted to be practical. And then I discovered that flowers had various other healing qualities themselves. And were great for flower essences. And that's with flower essences, that's when I first ever communicated with a plant
Okay.
after meditation and
Okay.
going out to see which plant was calling out to me. And I could feel, like everybody else at the workshop, I could feel the qualities that that plant would give us, how it would help heal us.
Wow.
And so they have that quality, and then they have, you can often eat flowers, bless them.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
then there's the essential oils aromatherapy, which I was working with as a massage therapist for a long time and using with my young family. Um, and then I discovered, that vibrational from the flower essences, the vibrational healing and the different facets of that, which really has culminated in the plant music for me and the sound healing.
Wow. That's amazing. I want to come back to you because I know you started talking about that, and we sort of, that's easy flow. And I love that. I love that it went into that. I just want to ask, I realize I have to ask this question before we carry on, because I don't want to ask this question at the end after because I was thinking, oh, maybe we'd ask it at the end, but actually, if we do that, then we might influence what people feel from what the music tells them.
Okay.
At this point, what do you think plants want to tell us? What do they want us to know?
Mm. From my experience, from my interpretation of it,
Yeah,
and there's a lot that I still don't know, but life is about love and connection.
yeah,
Like they're the two major things, and that we are all okay. And the first maybe 12 months that I was listening to plant music, I felt like there was a big hole in my solar plexus, and that music was filling it and healing it.
wow, 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 wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I think they want us to be able to feel whole again and to be healed and well and reconnected with each other and with all the beings on the planet.
It's almost like they're offering themselves to us, right? They're offering themselves. And we're like, okay, you're going through that. We are offering our essence. We are offering our healing. We're offering uh, our sustenance to you because you can use us for food. You can use us for various things. And what we offer is good for various things in your body to keep you healthy, to keep you high vibrational, all of that. Because the energy, I mean, if plants, like, if you think about what vegetables do for us, then they are high vibration. That makes sense, right?
Yes, vegetables and herbs, the
Yeah,
healing herbs.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Wow, awesome.
And oh, there is another
Oh,
part which they miss us.
wow.
That's what they also want us to know. They miss us and they want to be on the journey with us and that we can help them. They, like everybody who has to do a job by themselves, and I'm putting probably very human words to this, and
And that's okay.
it's the best I have at the moment, but just to make it relatable. So they they have work, they have a mission like we all do, but it was tied up with the humans, with all the beings on the planet, and for the so many of the humans to go to cities and stay inside so much and turn our back on nature and the trees instead of working with them and sharing our energies with them and our joys and challenges. They're missing us. And like during lockdown, I'm probably going a bit too wild now, but
That's okay.
I there's a road I drive down the peninsula, a freeway, and I always love it. And the trees and the fields around me, I just always feel so good. During lockdown, I drove down there and put my energy out as I normally do and felt it, and it just felt terrible.
Okay.
Um, the trees were just overwhelmed. It was like all the people's shock and sadness that the trees usually process and help us with, they were just overloaded.
Wow.
And it made me realize, oh my gosh, I need to put my love out to them and help them.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting, eh? Very interesting.
Mm.
I like how you say the plants miss us because it's just highlighted to me. Because I remember when I moved from the house that I used to live into this one, I was needing to move and I didn't know where I was going to go to at the time. And I thought, well, let me look at and see how I can declutter and give some things away. And I had all these plants in pots, and my heart was broken to separate from them. But at the point, I had no choice. I did bring some plants from this house that I moved from, and I still have them here. And I was contemplating like moving, and if I move, what's going to happen to the plants? Because I'm thinking of moving from one island to another, right? And I thought, well, actually, I'm going to have to take them because, like my fig tree, for example, has a long life with me. It's in a pot, but one of the days I'm going to put it in the ground because it needs to expand and extend itself. And I want to, I'm supposed to be that. In fact, I wanted to give the plants to somebody who could give them that expansion opportunity. And it's so worked out that this person hasn't come back to say, hey, do you still want to do that or whatever? But I'm feeling like I want to take them with me because I will miss my plants. I have a relationship with them. And you've just highlighted that. And so this is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I see now. I see better now than I did before. Why I felt like that about my plants because they obviously are akin to me.
Yes, kin
Mm,
is, that's right. And
mm,
the big trees are like our big brothers and
yeah,
sisters.
yeah, yeah.
And then
Wow.
there's the little ones who we can be the protectors of.
Yeah, nurture them and things like that.
Mm.
And I think now, if I recall it too, speaking about that experience, I actually said to them, "I'm really sorry," and but I'm giving those that I gave away. I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm not going to carry on with you, but I need, I need to do this." And so I'm giving you to somebody who really wants you because I put it out in the local neighborhood website to say, I've got these plants. Would anybody like them? And I said, people are very keen to have you. So they're going to love you and look after you. Now I understand better. Imagine that right
Yes.
now. Yeah.
Yeah. It's wonderful that we're having more of these conversations
That's
as
what I
we all
think is,
understand more.
yeah.
I certainly haven't always looked after plants, and even now I'm still not perfect, but I'm fortunate actually because the plants that play tend to grow more healthily. And so that helps me look after them. But I'm learning to care
Yeah.
for them better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. It's good. I think it's taking that first step to changing something, right? Or to be
Mm,
aware of it and conscious of it and then act in a way that is for the benefit of all, not just myself or not just someone else,
yeah.
for all of us to be benefiting from it. Regina, tell me this. Tell me a little bit about you. I know we're going to go to the anything else. I'm going to go to the anything else at the end of the interview. Tell us about you and your work and how you came to plant music.
Ah, okay. So my work has been, um, like most people, it's been an evolutionary process and process of not knowing what I didn't know along the way until suddenly I'd know it. And it suddenly, you make changes as you see more.
Yeah.
I've been a lover of permaculture since it began in 1980. Been very passionate about that because it's about plants, but it's about good design and wonderful sustainable systems and how you know plants, when you put them in appropriate places with other things, you get these wonderful environments to live in,
Okay.
and and happy plants too, and no poisons and all of that. Um i've that and wanting people to be well have been my two passions that have gone all the way through.
Okay.
And I realized that there's a lot in our society that people don't know. And I wrote a book called Connections Toolkit for Living in an Energetic Field of Love,
Nice.
trying to
Nice.
convey that that is the world that we live in. But if it's a meat and potatoes view of the world, you don't understand that there's this whole huge layer which connects us all in beautiful ways,
Yeah.
and it connects the plants and so on. So I'd written that, and I had worked in the areas of arts therapy. And again, I was attracted to nature and eco arts therapy, whereby by connecting with art and nature and our creativity, we were able to find out more about ourselves and discover all these treasures. People often worry about doing inner work because they think they're going to find that they're not good and they're not wonderful and horrible things, perhaps. And maybe you find some traumas and so on and deal with those, but people always find gems, and they find that they are wiser than they ever realized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then, um, one evening, New Year's Eve, I was gathered with a few friends, and we were painting the old year out and the new year in and chatting, having a lovely time. We'd been to the beach first,
It's
and
very different from having a New Year's Eve party, isn't it? This is a party of a different kind.
it's kind of those for more introverted people.
Yeah.
Yes, like smaller groups, really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was doing it, I didn't remember until my friends reminded me later. I had said, I love my arts therapy work, but I would be very happy if people came to me and they were already happy. It's a bit cheeky. Anyway, soon after, somebody contacted me for a massage, which I was still doing at the time. It's about 6 years ago. Um, and afterwards, she told me that she was starting a healing center and she was having people from Damanhur over in Italy come to run workshops. And I knew that they were extraordinary in the work that they do. It's just look them up, they're amazing.
Yeah.
And so I went along, and that's where I did my first plant music workshop.
Wow. Wow.
And from that point, once I heard that plant play, my mint plant, my heart really did open up so
Wow.
strongly, and I was moved to tears, and I wanted to be able to learn more and do more of this. I
Wow.
guess I guess when you react like that, it's a reminder. I was sent. Somebody literally came to me and said, "Look, here's a workshop you need to do," and then I saw where I had to go. So it's your
Yeah.
mission, isn't it? It's another piece of your mission work that you're supposed to be doing.
That's right. That's right. I mean, if I had to hear one of my plants playing, oh my gosh, I'd be over the moon. So I understand. I'd be like, oh my gosh, so you can say all of that? I can, this is what you are up to. Like, that's like, wow, it'd be amazing. So yeah, gonna be very interesting to see. I'm gonna get one of those devices, I think.
Mm,
So Plant Music Australia is what your website is called and your business is called.
yes.
What happens on Plant Music Australia? What are you offering on there? Please tell us about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, trying to introduce this strange thing to the world called plant music. And no, it's not music to play for plants, it's plants hearing the music from a plant. So, giving some demonstrations on the website.
Okay.
Also, I have you can download, get some free downloads. Um, on the site, I also sell plant music recordings and, of course, the devices. Um, and I run workshops, different sorts of workshops, and it tells you about that. And it runs sound baths. So a sound bath is where you usually lay down, but you relax in a state for maybe half an hour, maybe an hour, and all these different music come to you. In this case, the plants, a variety of them, all hooked up separately, will play, set them to different instruments so that we know who's who.
Okay.
And they do what they do. And it's amazing. For me, the only way I can imagine that they can harmonize so amazingly in such a short time is that they're in the fifth dimension or thereabouts. And so they're just doing what they do, which interacts and is aware of each other. And that's what
Wow.
we hear and feel.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm so looking forward to hearing the music again. And I know that our audience will be curious enough to hear it. I'm sure of it because it's different. It's very different. Um, we are going to
And,
play
and
some.
and it changes all the time
That's right.
depending on what's happening.
So that means a plant can change its music all the time, is what you're saying, right? So
Yes,
so
yes,
right.
they mm, plants seem to me to have their own story and their own life story, which can be very deep and meaningful, especially for the older trees.
Yes.
But as well as that, they will play for whoever is asking them to play for them.
Mm,
Although they don't always play, like they can choose to play or not play.
okay. So it's very much free will. Do you ever have
Very
a
much.
time where you figure out why they don't want to play? They just
Oh, yes, lots of reasons.
yeah.
Sometimes they're busy doing what they need to do for their own survival and
Yeah.
well-being. But some plants, like Priscilla, the beautiful peace prayer plant, and
Yes.
Ellie, the peace lily, they are two species of plants that generally their job seems to be healing, and they seem to love to play at every opportunity.
Okay. So, hmm, what kind of healing happens when a plant plays music? or when
What
we
sort of
listen to plant
feeling?
music? What kind of healing
Oh,
happens?
healing,
So
healing.
do you have people come specifically to listen to plant music so that they can heal from an ailment?
Yes, and I can do that online with people as well. Set
Okay.
up their own session like this,
Yeah.
and with the speakers set up beautifully.
Mm.
Um, and that's a nice way to start to experience a plant music. So I don't, I haven't gone in a lot into the healing, specific healing,
Okay.
but generally it's wonderful for overall relaxation, support, people feeling just better about themselves,
Yeah.
feeling a lot more ease and balance. But people have, I ran a workshop recently with quite a lot of people in the room, and a couple of people came up to me afterwards, and one had had a terrible headache, which went away listening to
Yeah.
plant music for a short time, actually. Somebody else had had a release in their leg pain. So it can be specific as well as general.
Yeah. It's almost like you just have to go with the flow and see what will turn up in terms of healing or what you're going through in that moment, right?
Yes.
Well, it's nice because it's very fluid. It's not like it's fluid. And I mean, that makes so much sense. It's a plant after all, you know. Um,
Yeah.
when I say that, I mean because fluid for me means free flowing, you know. It's here, we're in the moment, we're gently flowing and blowing in the wind, so to speak of.
Yes.
Mm.
That's what they do, isn't it?
They do exactly that. They create so much, wow, amazing energy.
Mm.
So before I go to tell you about my experience since we did this music,
Yes, I'm looking
please,
forward to that.
yes, please tell us your web address firstly.
Ah, thank you. So it's plantmusic.com.au.
Yeah, plantmusic.com.au. And for everybody, we will put that link in the description box for you. So you can click on it and go and see what Regina is actually offering and have an example. Just check it out because there's a few things on there other than just the plant music devices. What else is there that you think you want to tell us about, Regina?
Oh, there are a few blogs that I've written about experiences with plants and plant music. More of those to come. And it also, there's links. I have a link tree, which might be easier to find other things. So linktr.ee
Okay.
slash plant music au, which is plant music au is also my Instagram. And there are lovely little snippets in all those places, little videos which tell about some of the stories and
Yeah.
experiences I've had.
Wonderful. So before we go to my experience and then listen to the music, the plant music, is there anything else you want to tell us that I haven't asked you about?
No, I just really appreciate everybody who has sat and listened to this because the plants, they, I don't know, it's just such joy to me as more of us tune back in and remember and reconnect and do our journey together.
Yeah,
So thank you so much, Rose, for that and for everybody for listening.
you're very welcome. You're always welcome back here too. Remember that.
Thank
So
you.
I said I wanted to share my experience with this morning, and I think that it's coming from after I'd done the light language with your plants and their music. I had one experience where one of my plants is dying. It has a lot of that mealybug on it, and I thought I'd fixed it, and then seems to have come back again. And then I looked up what do I do about this, and then I got told that you can use neem oil to clean it out, which I did. And I cleaned all of it out. I got rid of all the, mucky stuff. And then I started to feel very joyful. afterwards. It was almost like, oh, that's a job well done. It was meant for you to do. You needed to nurture, and it was not even like stroking my ego, but I started to have this amazing vibration inside. So that's one thing. Then I looked at the other plants and found another one, and I started to clean that out, and that made me feel better. And then I mean, I talked to my plants because one of them just keeps having babies. I say they keep having babies. Just you get new shoots and you get little flowers, and all the time. This is the indoor plant, and this one that's really in a bad way. It's been the most amazing plant, and then suddenly it started when I came back from South Africa, because I had to suddenly go to South Africa. When I came back, it had all it started to deteriorate, and I'm trying to revive it now. But the main thing I wanted to talk about was I'd opened a portal for animals, for healing animals and things like that. About 2 weeks ago, I was guided to open a portal because my dog has not been doing really well. And so I had to take him to a healing place, energetic healing place. And then someone said to me, think again about whether you've opened the portal in the right place for other animals to come through, because maybe Baxter is taking the energy of them and he's carrying some of them. That's why his situation is getting worse when he never had any of these issues, skin issues and all that. Anyway, this morning, I went down to drop off the newspaper at my elderly neighbor. I take a newspaper from the top of the drive at the litter box. I take it down to her. And suddenly I felt drawn to the back of the garden because we've got bush out there. We've got these trees and we've got all these ferns growing and all sorts of things like hydrangeas and all of that. And I've recently buried the cat down there, or his resting place is down there, and he's been a guardian of the land. And I stood there and I suddenly felt like I needed to do my light language, and I was doing the light language. And then I hear, this is the where you create the new portal for everyone else besides Baxter. This is where, and it's interesting because where I'm standing, there is a frame, a wooden frame, like a doorway, right there. And then I started to hear the trees as I was doing the language, and I started to hear the trees clapping, applauding that this is the place for it to be. And what suddenly came to me in front of me was this card, that the Beyond Lemuria card deck by Izzy Ivy, that says, it's got a picture of a cat on it and it says portal keeper. And I realized, oh my gosh, the cat's buried down there. He's been the guardian of the land and now he's the keeper of the portal. So thank you for enhancing my sensitivity to these incredible beings that are plants that are all around us and have got so much to give and so much want to show us their love. You know, humanity needs to get it, what everyone is here to do, because we in ignorance just destroy things, you know, and that's not how it should be. So that was my story.
Thank you. I'm on the verge of tears. That's
Oh,
really beautiful. And yes, it's been sad what we've done, and it's just wonderful where we're all going. And the fact that you found me, you reached out to me, and so
yeah.
glad for this connection.
Yeah, how it's all happened. I
Yeah.
want to say just one more thing about that portal. That portal is there for all animals in this radius. In fact, probably for a 30-kilometer radius all around me to go through for healing. If they're unwell, if they are at the end of their life and the human hasn't worked out that, and as well as if they're abused, because there are some animals being abused. And the human, it needs to come to that level of realizing what the animal is there, the pet is there for a different kind of reason than they brought it there for, and it's all about them. The pet's there for dogs and cats are here for us. They're helping raise our vibration, and it also brought in children. The last time when I did it was bringing children in abusive situation, but this time it was also bringing in downtrodden women who are in abusive situations. So that portal leads out to the bush behind us. And it's actually, the portal is being managed by the plants and the trees. They are going to give the healing. Wow. So we've
Yeah.
done it. So
And
thank you.
they are wonderful healers. They
Yeah.
are wonderful.
Yeah.
And we all know that, and we all go out to nature when we're out of balance. You know,
Yes.
during the
Yes.
lockdowns, I'm sure it was similar for you, but we had so many people struggling with mental health, and
Yeah.
so many people I know personally went, "Oh, nature, it just saved us. It kept us sane.
Absolutely.
I had to have my nature every day."
Absolutely. Yeah, what would we have done without it? And you could hear birds that you hadn't heard before. You could see birds that because of the less that there wasn't traffic. There
Yeah.
were so many positives to the lockdown, but there was all of these people living alone and getting, depressed about it. And we must respect that is we had to see shadows. Shadows we had to see for the last 4 years. It got rather intense last year, but it got intense for the light workers last year, but shadows was everybody's shadow coming out in the last from 2020 onwards. I'm just reminded, speaking of nature, I used to live out on the Bucklands Beach Peninsula here in Auckland, and I live right one street back from the water. And I one day I was out walking, and I have to walk the dog, so I walk around there and all of that. And then we came to the waterfront, and we walked over this wooden bridge to get to Half Moon Bay. And I could hear something splashing, and I thought, sounds like a human taking a dive into the water. And that's too shallow. Normally people don't dive off that bridge. So I thought, I'm gonna go and see what that's about. And as I go further on, there is this stingray in the water, and it's just gliding. It's just gliding, and hovering over it is a kingfish. And they were making this noise together because they'd moved away from the shallower end into the deeper end. And you could just see everywhere the stingray was going, the kingfish was following. I was amazed. I mean, like, I thought, wow, you guys are giving us something to feel good about. How good is that? How amazing is nature? And and they just swam together like these two different species, showing us how we can be in harmony, giving us a message that is higher than what that was happening. That was, 'cause I don't know that a kingfish, and the kingfish was not a grown up, a fully grown up one. It wasn't a baby, but neither was it a fully grown up one. Neither was the stingray. There's two teenagers hanging out together, but of different species. My gosh. So Mother Nature and all her creation had something new to teach us and show us in the lockdowns.
Yes, that's a beautiful story.
It is. I wrote it out actually. I read it on radio to everybody because I had to share this amazing story about the kingfish and the stingray. Right. We come to that wonderful time now that everybody's been waiting for you to share the plant music with us.
Ah, okay.
I'm going to turn my musician's mode on, and I think you're going to turn yours on too. And I'm going to mute myself so I don't come into this.
Okay.
Right, I've got it on.
Okay. Mine's on now. What have I done? Turn you on. This one. So I should introduce our musicians. And at the moment, I have hooked up. Aha. Back here is Priscilla the prayer plant, and she's playing through this speaker. And you can tell me if I need to turn things up or down. This is Ellie, the peace lily. I'll see if she will play. All right. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it's somebody else's turn, and I'm getting the feeling that this fairly new cyclamen in our home might be the one who's going to play. Let's see. Now, this is saying no signal. She's attached and she's not playing. This is really interesting. So, this is a great opportunity for us all right now, no matter where we are, because there's no time and no space. Sending, so even if this is after the replay, on the replay, sending love to this beautiful cyclamen and to Priscilla the prayer plant, and let's see if they will play for us. And I'm going to give them both a little bit more water because the water can help with the connection, and they can get a bit dry too.
And I asked you, sorry, that's my feedback coming through. Shall we do some light language before you do that again?
Good. I'll turn my original sound off.
Okay.
And you do that, and we'll send love, and we'll see if the plants are going to respond.
Okay.
But yes, they're a step ahead of us always.
Yeah. It's good. It says there's personality there, isn't it?
That's Priscilla.
That's Priscilla. She's playing. Oh, she's just playing. Isn't that interesting? I've said we'll do some light language and then... Okay, I'm going to do the light language anyway. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so we're just going to take a moment to breathe. Kita baru tawarana kota makatata. Sama kota nama ima tsumulu kana masne tutu. Ho alela la hai, ho alela la hai. Sonoma. Okay. I'm just going to turn my musician's mode off and put myself on mute. So you take from there. Shall we let her carry on playing in the background? If you take yourself off musician's mode, please.
Done.
That's great because we can still hear her.
I'll just turn them down.
So,
How's that?
that's better. I mean, it was fine. It's just I'm thinking that we probably conscious of time and let them play in the
Yes.
background because we want to talk about what
Yes.
this
You
happened.
listened longer than I thought you would.
I just thought no, we didn't agree on a time or anything, so I just thought so when I said I'd do the language, Priscilla, and it's interesting that you've got names for your plants, and I think that's pretty cute actually that you have names for your plants. When I said let's do some light language, because that's popped into my head, and I thought we might do some light language for the healing of the cyclamen plants that you've got. I had a lot of heat in my hands when I lifted them up. And this plant needs some healing, you say, yet it's fairly new and it's got its flowers and everything. If you tried the cyclamen now, do you think it would give us anything?
Oh, well, the cyclamen has been playing.
Wow.
Priscilla started playing, and then the one that's playing the strings, that's the cyclamen. So she joined in. So Priscilla was playing for a while,
Okay.
and I can't remember the timing, but with your light language, she started playing, and everybody sending their love.
Because I could just feel that we were sending this healing to her, and I was just really looking at her directly at one point as the music was going and just feeling I'm sending you love. That's amazing. Wow, that's just amazing. And I could feel all these sensations on my third eye. I could feel heat going down my back. I felt this absolute clearness in my lower chakras, like I guess in a way confirming for me that there's lightness and clarity, and that it's all spinning the way it should, given everything that we've been doing, all the meditations. And I just felt really light in my belly, and I thought, wow, that's just amazing. So just saying to everybody watching, that's it, have a go at listening to the music again. And if I can, I'll put it in the description box as soon as I get to it, as soon as I've done the editing, as to where the music starts, for you to just maybe pause there and take a moment to breathe, and then see what sensations you get from it, because it's not your normal, is it?
It's not your normal. And I hadn't mentioned, but they have done tests with meditators who regularly meditate, and discovered that when they meditate with plant music, in maybe 20 minutes, they can get into a very deep state that might have normally taken them up to 2 hours to reach.
And I can see that, I can feel that, especially that ever since we started talking, I've been yawning and I've been feeling like I just want to go into relax mode, and there's some weird stuff happened in this video, do you think?
Yeah, weird, but
Gosh.
to me it's becoming very normal.
And when I say weird, I mean good weird, because almost
I
like
know.
they suddenly took over. Do you feel when they didn't play the music, when they were keeping quiet, they actually took over because they were trying to communicate what they wanted us to do?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that's just awesome.
they're very good at getting a message across, that when we just slow down and pay attention.
Wow,
They're very good at that.
awesome. Well, Regina, anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to everybody?
No, just thank you, everybody. I'd love you to download the free meditation on the front page of my website. There's three different recordings, and play with those and share them with your friends. And
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put the web address in the description box, as I mentioned, plantmusicaustralia.com. Did I say it right? That's it. I
Yes.
can't. It's not.
Oh,
It's
.com.au.
yes. Plantmusicaustralia.com.au.
Oh, plantmusic.com.au is the
Oh,
web.
I beg your pardon.
That's all
Say it.
right.
You say it.
Plantmusic.com.au.
Great. Thank you. I'm just getting the Plant Music Australia in the middle there. But even if you look up Plant Music Australia, you will find Regina.
Yes.
Regina, thank you so much for your
Yes.
time today. We're so appreciative of that, and I'm curious to see what you're going to call the name that the cyclamen is going to get.
Yes. Well,
Um,
you know how to do that. You can do that with your own plants. Just sit, ask them what their name is, and go with whatever jumps into your mind first.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. I'm gonna do that with mine. Still feeling all the heat down my back at the moment. Wow.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I really enjoyed your light language with the plants too. Really, that
Thank
was
you.
very, very powerful for me.
Thank you so much for that. I didn't think. Remember, we weren't going to do that because I said no, we won't do that. Because of the vibration of them, whatever. But actually, it just happened, and yeah, I think Priscilla was just saying to me, Rose, get your act together. You're supposed to do this. Do it now. Otherwise, I'm not going to sing. Oh, you go,
Yes.
girl. That's what I
Thank
have to
you.
say.
Thank you so much. It's been a delight. Goodbye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope you found this as fascinating as I have, and I hope you will continue to explore this plant music and have a relationship with your plants. It's awesome. Thank you, and we'll catch you next time here on the Great Awakening Generator. Namaste.